Hi and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for a film that I didn't know I was excited for until I watched it, and now I'm very excited to talk about Revelations, a new South Korean film by the director of Train to Busan. So, if anything, you know this director is going to be able to create suspense and create a drama driven by characters rather than the action itself. So, let's dive in and talk about it. Revelations follows a pastor who believes punishing the culprit behind a missing person case is his divine mission, and a detective haunted by visions of her dead sister, each pursuing their own truths. So we got Ryu Jin-yeol playing Min-chan, who is the pastor who goes on an interesting journey at the beginning of this film. From where we start with his character to where we end up is not what I expected. Then we have Shin Hyun-bin, who plays Detective Yoon-hee. Her character is broken from the death of her sister, but the trajectory that she goes on as well, I think, was very interesting. These two are our main protagonist, intertwined with Shin Min-jae, who plays Kwon Yang-rae, who's kind of our bad guy protagonist, or more like a MacGuffin thing that you hold up. Now, during this review, I will let you know my score at some point, not at the end. Interestingly, Alphonse Cuarón is also a producer in this. So it's interesting that we have a very well-regarded group of creators that have come together to make this story that feels more relevant today than any other day. You know, religion is always top tier in storytelling because of how much it affects us in the real world. But here we have a pastor who's got an interesting dynamic with his wife. Something is going on without doing spoilers, and he's already a troubled pastor. He's trying to balance too many plates. In comes this guy who looks dodgy from the get-go, and we follow their trajectory together as a relationship, not a good one, a relationship unfolds with the drama of the story, which is our MacGuffin, the thing that's going to, hinder all our characters' lives to becoming much more in turmoil than we're expecting. It's a beautifully crafted film. The cinematography is stunning. It has atmosphere for days. Really fun just to soak up the atmosphere of what you are watching. A lot of night shots, but you get to see mostly everything. The day shots also have this sort of tone that kind of really helps get you in the zone of what this movie is. It's a character study of what happens when people are placed in terrible situations that are prone to maybe becoming one thing, that thing that was always in them, and then somebody just gives them the kick, not that they need, but the kick to push them in, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. We have our two protagonists end up that way. I really like the dynamic of the detective here as well. Understated detective, eyeing everything as she walks into the room. Really great acting, giving us the understanding that she is really great at her job. And it's the type of character she plays is when somebody looks at you and they look like they've calculated everything. They know what you had for breakfast and how you messed up your taxes. The person that looks through you into your soul. She carries that sort of gravitas. And I would say with equal measure, Shin Min-jae, forgive me, who plays Kwon Yang-rae, has a menacing aura about him. I mean, the scar does help that he has on his face, but at the same time, he just comes across as a guy that you want to cross the street to. He's not a guy that you leave your kids alone with. And that atmosphere plays with the detective really well. Once we start getting the unraveling of the preacher as well, it seems to form a sort of cult symbol of what he's following and who he's listening to, God supposedly giving him these messages. The final fruition scene, I expected, but I didn't expect it to go the way it does, which was nice and refreshing. It is a bit of a slow burn, though. It takes its time building these characters, giving us the storyline, making us think characters are one thing, and then finding out that, I may have liked that character in the beginning, but I don't like that the character now. I may not have thought or had much emotional ties to this one particular character in the beginning, but the trajectory, the roller coaster ride that we see of these characters and where they end up at the end leaves you feeling in a very different place. I'm not sure what the message of this film is, other than to keep persevering because you might win out in the end. but it does seem to be talking about religion without really throwing it in your face. Even though it's a big kind of main protagonist storyline of this movie, it's not like preaching at you, even when he might be preaching fire and brimstone, which there is a scene which I haven't heard for a long time, but a sort of fire and brimstone, God's gonna get him, like you're gonna burn in hell sort of message, which wasn't at all triggering for me. However, because of who helms this, we have the director pulling out what the actors exactly need. I don't think this is going to be for everybody. I think the slow burn of this story always puts people off. Slow burn shouldn't put you off. It's just building character, building story, wonderfully crafted, looks beautiful, and has an ending that is tense. So I'm going to give this 3.75 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one.
I think the payoff is good enough for you to sit through the 2 hours. I think they could have shaved some time off it. So I'm not saying that it's without its flaws, but I think I really did enjoy this. Let me know, what is your favorite from this director? I think most people will say Train to Busan, but have you seen some of his other works? I don't really like Train to Busan 2. I think that wasn't needed and wasn't nearly as good as the original, but not many films can hold up to the original greats. When they hit that gold moment, maybe you should veer to another genre without kind of undoing what was great about the first one. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about this film when you see it. Do you like these actors? Do you think they did a good job with it? Do you think it took too long? Let's chat in the comments, and I look forward to what you guys are saying there. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.